Welcome back to Light Talk, where everyday people can share their spiritual journey stories with a safe and supportive community. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email lighttalk423 at gmail.com or click in the comments below and type in guest, please. And while you're at it, click on your like, share, and subscribe buttons. Well, let's get going here. So our guest, why don't you tell us what you do for a living and then start in on your stories.
Okay. I am retired military. Um,
Thank you
when
for sharing. Thank you for serving. Appreciate that.
Thank you. And so one time I'd been running some long hours at work, and then I had to go on an 8-hour watch. So when I got back to the house, I laid down and was sleeping. I just zonked out, and then I got this feeling that somebody was looking at me or watching me. So um, so it kind of woke me up a little bit, and I opened my eyes because someone's there you want to see.
Right.
So I looked up, and there was this like a 8-foot silhouette, like a dark charcoal colored figure at the foot of my bed, and
Oh,
like a super heavy rough wool coat. It looked like a cloak, and it had the hood on it, the oversized hood, and it was kind of drooping down over the head.
yeah.
And um and it was like looking at me. It was like we locked eyes. And for a
Wow.
second I was like paralyzed, and I couldn't move, and then just for a second, and then I just jumped up, and my lungs emptied out, and I went to the other room with my wife, and she's like, "Well, what's going on?" I said, "There's something in that room back there." So we both went back, and it wasn't there anymore. So I was kind of wigging on that for a while, and got
Yeah,
back to
that's
sleep. Never saw that again. But as if you could smell it, it would be the most pungent smell you could smell. It was just pungent.
yeah.
So
Doesn't sound good. How did you feel when you saw this?
oh, I don't know, like, well, it was like, I don't know, it's just like something was after me, and it was there to take me or something. It was like it didn't move. It just stood there to stare. I couldn't see the face, but I can imagine what it looked like under the thing, and we were like eye to eye. So I don't know. It was so quick that
Yeah.
um I don't know. It just scared me out of my mind.
Yeah.
And then
Was
I left.
this, what color of eyes did it have? Did it have any
If I could
coloring
see,
in it?
if I would have seen the eyes, they would have been kind of like a bigger kind of eyes, and like a like a green, like a like um kind of like if you mix green and red together, like a light green with red, it'd be like that. So there's like a hint of red, but they were kind of a dark green, really dark, and it
Okay.
had the pupil was very, very prominent.
What
And
color? Was it still a black or
what's that? The
a
iris,
pupil?
the
Yeah.
pupil. Yeah, it was like pitch black,
Okay.
pitch.
Okay.
And and the face, if I could describe the face, it'd be like the skin was really thick and heavy, and it kind of like the weight of the skin was pulling down. The weight was pulling down, and like the smile folds were like elongated, like a long face, um, a big ugly nose, kind of wide, but still kind of like ours, but it was like just thick with thick skin.
Would you say scaly or
No,
just tough,
just
thick skin?
just tough, thick skin and
Okay.
wrinkled. Like it just like the skin was pulling itself down.
Huh.
Um, then there was another time when I moved to the house I'm at now. I was laying down and I was just ready to doze off, and I had that same feeling like something was watching me. And I opened my eyes. I'm looking around, and there was a figure of an older lady in white, and I was able to describe her to a T. And it's like I could describe every detail, or the way her hair was wavy, um, the gown she was wearing, come down to maybe about her waist, and then it disappeared. It just kind of faded out.
Yeah.
But from her chest up was really vivid. It was like, and she was welcoming. She was. It didn't scare me a bit. It actually calmed me.
Yeah,
And
quite
I was,
different.
yeah, like the opposite.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and I always wish she would pop in again because it was so peaceful and calm, and you know, and so
Yeah.
it'd been about a month later. The We had some people come by and was wanting to buy some chickens, and they were asking me how I liked the house. And I said, I think it's a nice little house. It's nice and cozy, and so I was going to tell them. I told them to say, well, I don't want to sound freaky or anything, but I seen this lady in here, and the guy's wife looked up at me, and like it was familiar. So I told her to say, well, I seen this lady in my room, and I described it to her, and the guy says that was my grandma. And I was like, really? And then this lady, his wife, she started talking and doing more describing on this lady that I didn't tell her. And she says, well, and I said, well, how do you know that? And the guy says, well, my wife's a medium. And
Oh, so she read knowing you knew something about this house. She
yeah,
read you.
and it was it
Very
was the
cool.
guy's grandma, and I guess she talks to her sometimes or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But she knew who I was talking about, and she was describing her to a T. The
That,
information I didn't give her. It's like she's seeing the same thing. So, and I
yeah.
told her, well, she was so peaceful and calm and like loving, and it's just so nice.
Yeah.
And she was a really nice lady. So that's how she was. And her husband said that she'll pop in once in a while just to check things out. And so by coming in and giving me the atmosphere she did, she likes us. She said we're good people, and she just likes to know that, and we take care of the house and everything, and that's all she wants to do. Just come in and let us know that she likes us,
That's
and
awesome.
it's like we're more than welcome to be in her house.
Yeah. I had one time I was laying down in bed also, and I had this voice come through, and all it said was group. I don't know where or why that word came through, but it's just the word group. And I've never had a word sound so loving and so kind and so clear. It was something, it's, you almost wanted to just hug this word. It was just a word. And I wanted to go with wherever this word was at. It was,
Yeah,
it's hard to explain, but it was just the most loving tone that it said. It was a female voice and it said group. And I've never heard words that clear before in my life. It was so clear. You can hear every little letter in the word. It was so wild, but so awesome.
Huh. Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't heard anyone. Sometimes I think there was somebody telling me something, but I couldn't make it out. It's like, yeah, there for a while when I'd be out in my garage late at night. I think it's. I would think I heard someone talking to me, and there are a few times I would turn around to see who it was, and I was the only one in there. But it wasn't. It wasn't scary or nothing. It's just like you knew someone was talking to you, but in your mind you were hearing a voice, but you couldn't understand what they were saying. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it was clear.
Right.
And
Right.
and then a little while after that, there was I started getting a feeling that someone was there with me physically, and that was freaking me out. And I'd be looking up, and I said, just your imagination. So I just go back to doing what I was doing, and that feeling got heavier and heavier, like somebody in dark clothes in a shadow form, in like almost like not even in a sharp human image. It was just like almost a really weak silhouette that I would picture, but I never seen it. And it just every time I feel that, it felt like it was closer. So eventually, it kind of freaked me out. So I just went ahead and I was getting chills and everything, and I said, "No, I'm out of here." So I come back in the house, and I never went out at night for a while. And then I was thinking, "This is stupid. There's nothing out there. It's just your imagination." So I went back out there, and when I get that feeling, I just kind of blow it off and say, "There's nothing in here." And so I just started. Um, I was thinking it. I didn't say it, but I said, "You need to go away. You need to go away. Leave me alone. You need to go."
Yeah.
And but I
Good
didn't say it
job.
out loud. I was thinking it really strong.
Right.
And so I come back in the house, and the next day we got some sage and a big old bundle of sage, and we went around and was opening windows and spreading the sage all around the contours of the house. And I was saying, well, you need to go. You don't belong here. This is my house. You need to leave. This is not
Yes.
your house. And I was kind of repeated that. You need to leave us alone.
Right.
And I felt stupid doing it, but I didn't have any of that creepiness anymore out in the garage.
Every
And
since, or
huh?
have you had it? You've done that once. You've saged your garage and you
Yeah,
haven't had this at all since?
yeah, no. Well, I
That's
saged the
awesome.
house, and there was also one time, but this ended up being um a false alarm. But me and my wife was sleeping in deep sleep early in the morning, about 2:30, and we heard this scream, this god awful scream. It had a low tone to it, and then with it, it was like a really high screech, and it was
Huh.
loud. It was loud, and we both jumped up, and I said, "Did you hear that too?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I was like, "Now I'm freaking out because this was an evil scream."
Hmm.
And so that's when we saged the house too. We did that, and we never heard it again. And then another night, a couple months later, we heard it again, and it turned out it was the bulldog
Oh no.
sleeping. And I guess when they have really bad chest pains or something, they do that noise, and she did it loud, and I thought something was out there, and it sounded like it was right above us.
Wow.
Turned out to be the dog because she did it another time, and we witnessed it. I said, "You little dog, scared the living hell out of us." So anyway, that was a false alarm. But then there was another time I'm walking into the kitchen. Everything's cool, and and we had a doorway, and we took it out, but the doorway, um, from the kitchen to the living room, I was walking through it, and just as I entered the threshold, I got this whiff of this very super sweet rose,
Oh,
really sweet.
wow.
You could see that it had been a pink cloud passing in front of me.
So it
And
was a
as soon as
pink
I got,
rose?
I don't know, it was really sweet. Well, it smelled like a red rose, really strong and sweet.
Okay.
And then if you could have seen it, it would have been a pink cloud just drifting right in front of me to
So
pass
you
me.
did see a cloud?
If you could have seen it, it would have been a pink cloud. So in my mind, I seen it, but
Okay.
I don't think it was physically there. But in my mind, that's what I seen.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, and as soon as I cleared the threshold, it was gone. It just disappeared. Because for a second, I thought someone using fabric softener or something. I was smelling it,
Yeah.
but I didn't smell nothing until I started through the threshold, and then it just hit right there. And then as I passed through and to the other side of the threshold, it disappeared just as fast as it come in.
Oh, loving.
I think it was probably that lady,
Oh, and
maybe the
that could
purple
be.
or something. That's what I think.
Yeah. Bringing
Um,
you a gift. That could be it. Could have been a gift to you from her.
yeah, just checking in again and letting me know that she's there and she's good with everything.
Yeah.
That's what I get out of it.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's pretty much. I think that's about all that's happened. But when it
Yeah.
really started freaking me out and getting chills, and I was like getting cold and stuff, I just like I said, I didn't say anything out loud.
Yeah.
It wasn't verbal or anything, but I thought in my mind, I says, "You need to leave me alone. You need to get out of here. You
Yeah.
need to." So I just kind of, quit bothering me. Go somewhere
Yeah.
else. You're not welcome here. You need to go. And
And
I've never had that.
that's kind of how they communicate is through I just lost my wording, but through mind reading. They'll read your mind.
Well,
And
that's good because
yeah.
they're listening because I haven't had that since. I stay out there all night long. I do days and nights on end out there. I don't bother me a bit. There's nothing out there that's done that to me again.
That's
So I
awesome.
don't know. I don't know what all that was about, but I'm all good now. I ain't afraid to go out there and climb up on a saw
Tell them where to
table.
go.
Yeah, you need to go. You need to get out of here and quit bugging me. I just got to where I was tired of being on the alert and feeling like something was going to come and get me or something. I just thought you need to go. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
In my and it all went away. Never had a problem since.
So I know you're an artist. So have you ever drawn these figures that you've seen?
No, I haven't. I haven't drawn these things. There was one time where I was in the hospital with my mom, and she was uh, she was nearing her end, and I was rubbing her forehead and kind of holding her hand, and then I just had this feeling I should look up. And it was just weird, like something just said, "Look up here." So I looked up towards the ceiling, and it was like it wasn't like I seen a cloud. It was just like how a cloud would block out scenery. It was like that, just the scenery was blocked out, but there wasn't a cloud. And there's all these like little fine crystals sparkling all over in that area.
Oh,
And there was something, and it was kind of like it was mom looking down on me, right there. And it was right towards the end there. And so I figured that was kind of weird. Nobody else witnessed it, and there was others in the room, and they didn't notice it. But I looked up. It just something made me look up, and I look
yeah.
up, and there was just this really fine, like crystal dust. It was just shiny and no cloud or anything, but I just knew it was probably mom in that mist up there looking down saying, I'm okay. It's going to be okay. And that was that.
That's pretty cool. That's a great sign of love and a great way to I don't know what how to say this, but to see the last of her, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's that was a great way to say goodbye.
Yeah.
That was a probably the greatest way you could ever say it. You're very lucky to have that. Not everybody gets that. Not everybody. You're very lucky to have that experience. Yeah.
Yep. It was different, but it was just so clear that it had to be a mom up there. I kind of envisioned her face and her hair when it was long and wavy and was white, and when she was younger and healthier.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the way I kind of envisioned her face up in the or her head in this cloud, saying it's okay, I'm good. And
Yeah.
then I just kind of looked away and I looked back up. Well, I looked down at mom and I was like, wow. And I went to look up just to see, and there wasn't nothing there. So
Yeah.
it's just that it was just that I was probably looking up there like 3 or 4 seconds, and it lasted the whole time I was looking up. And then when I looked back down at mom, and I was like, wow. And I looked back up and there wasn't anything there.
Yeah. That's when she left. That's when she went to heaven. She went to
But I think
cross the
that was
line there.
I think that's when she when it happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're very lucky to have that experience. That's just a loving thing, I think. You know, I
Yeah.
think it's just the greatest gift she could have given you.
But it was different. I mean, it was pure. It wasn't there wasn't any doubt at all. You know, you felt it, you see it. It was just pure. So,
Yeah. That's awesome. That is so cool.
um,
You say
and
that's probably
then
one of the best stories you could tell.
and there was another one where my uncle had passed, and I was dreaming. We went to a big get together. It was like a wedding or something. We was all in this room. Everybody was congregating, and Uncle Marvin was over in the crowd there, and he looked up and see me there, and he come over and he was talking to me, and he pat me on the shoulder, and he was talking. I heard the words crystal clear, and I felt him. I seen him. It was just so like we were there. I
Yeah.
was really there with them,
Yeah.
and, and that's all that was. That kind of that ended, but
And that there is you said it was a dream, right?
yeah,
Yeah, so what happens when you're asleep is your soul leaves your body because your soul never sleeps. But your vessel, your body needs the rest. So we go to sleep to rest the vessel, but our soul leaves because it just doesn't need to sit still. So it leaves. And what could have happened right there is that you went to some party that your uncle was at and you actually did go talk with them and communicate and visit. Then when it
yeah,
was time for you to wake up, you came back to your body.
and we did. There was a I can't remember. I think it was one of my niece's weddings or something that we were at, and we was in this room, and then he'd come over and talk for a little bit. But in this I guess dream, it was so real. I like talked to him, I heard him, I felt him, I seen him, and it was just I watched him walk over towards me, and
Yeah, a vivid dream. And that's kind of what it is. From my understanding, a vivid dream is where you actually go and you visit. I've had some dreams kind of like that. It's like I went to this it was almost like a YMCA kind of place for all the family. And we were at this like picnic area. And we were sitting there and we were chatting with all these different people and everything. The next thing I knew, my whole family was in this river on rafts. And my mom is scared of water, but she was on the raft too. We were kind of there, and it was just the weirdest thing because we were just kind of floating down, and the next thing I know, mom was on the other side of this water place. I wasn't sure if it was a river or if it was a lake or if it was a pond that was in the midst of a river or something. Like, I don't know what it was. But I remember going to the other side of this water place, and dad got stuck somewhere in the water. So I had to stop and try and pull him back in the boat. And mom was waiting for us on the other side. And it was just kind of a weird thing, but I know it was like I've been there before, but I hadn't. And then I
Yeah.
had another dream, it's kind of the same situation. It was, but a little different things happened, but in the same place that I've never been to in this life. So I'm thinking
Yeah.
I visited a previous life or maybe even a future life. I'm not sure, but my family was all there. It was weird.
Huh.
Yeah.
Strange.
Yeah. Pretty cool though, because you get to see different things, and it's like my husband was there. It was just so cool. It was just like everybody was there, but it was a whole different place, but yet I've been there before. It was so weird.
Yeah.
But pretty nice place. It was all like in the mountains and really pretty.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's weird. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's I think I think that's about it that I've experienced.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's that. But I'm all good with everything.
Well,
I'm all
that's good.
good. Nothing. I've had more positive than well, it's just that one, those two when I was still in the military and I was sleeping and I seen that big old thing up there, and then in my garage that creepy feeling. Those are the only two bad things. Everything else is pretty positive.
That's good. It
But
sounds like you've gotten rid of the negative and you're bringing in and being more open to bring in the positive, which is good.
yeah,
That's a good sign.
yeah, I don't like negative.
No, me neither. Me neither. Me neither.
Well, I I don't like the idea of something watching over me and not letting me see them. And that one let me see it. That was
Yeah. But I've had
yeah,
ETs watching over me and my husband.
yeah,
But it didn't feel creepy. It was more of like, okay, you're watching over me, making sure everything's okay, everything's good. All right. It
yeah,
wasn't very scary. It was just, okay, you're here. Nothing like
yeah.
terrifying or anything. Yeah.
Huh.
Well, it looks like our time is pretty much there. So I thank you so much for joining us today. And we'll maybe talk with you later if you have any more stories, if you would like to tell them.
Okay.
You're up for that. So I will let you go and we will end our show with this. All right. Thank you so
Okay.
much for joining us. And again, if you would like to be a guest on the show, email me at lighttalk423@gmail.com or comment below as a guest, please. Or you could go in and push the click on the like, share, and subscribe buttons. All right. We'll talk to you all later. Bye.
All right. Bye.